Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video we are going to look at Corey Graves attacks Roman Reigns at MITB, the Fiend Bray Wyatt returns at Money in the Bank, the best and worst of Money in the Bank 2022, WWE Money in the Bank chaotic backstage, and more. First, let's look at the best and worst of Money in the Bank 2022. Welcome to the special edition of Best and Worst of Money in the Bank 2022. It was one of the most crucial shows of 2022 and delivered in a big way despite a mixed build-up. With title changes, epic matches, new stars getting pushed, returns being teased, and more. The premium live special didn't suffer without Roman Reigns' presence. So what were the ups and downs of the epic MITB show? Let's get right into it. Number 3. Best, the Usos versus the Street Profits. The match of the night goes to the Usos and the Street Profits despite two great ladder matches. It was a masterclass of storytelling and in-ring action, showcasing the two best tag teams in the company. This match was tag team wrestling at its finest, with the Street Profits nearly breaking the Usos' reign. With this win, the Usos complete a year as tag team champions in just 2 weeks. The match ended controversially as Angelo Dawkins' shoulder was up. The feud will likely continue, and the controversy only added to it. Number 2. Worst, not waiting beyond 24 hours to cash in the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. Liv Morgan winning the briefcase wasn't bad at all, but cashing in the briefcase on the same night continues to follow the trend of WWE not using the briefcase seriously for women. Between 2017 and 2022, there have been 6 women's Money in the Bank winners: Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Asuka, Nikki Ash, and Liv Morgan. Of them all, only Carmella has held the briefcase for more than 24 hours. Carmella held it for 10 months between June 2017 and April 2018. But Alexa Bliss, Bayley, and Liv Morgan cashed in on the same night, while Asuka and Nikki Ash captured the titles a night later. It's a missed opportunity for Liv to build anticipation. Number 2. Best, Bobby Lashley becomes a 3-time US champion. Bobby Lashley put on another epic performance at Money in the Bank. The Las Vegas crowd was hot for the Almighty, cheering him on throughout the bout. Lashley reached the next level by being a babyface. His confidence skyrocketed, perhaps even more than when he was WWE champion in 2021. He has been a constant high point of WWE programming, and Money in the Bank was perfect for capturing his 3rd US title in WWE. We look forward to seeing what Lashley does as the US champion. Number 1. Worst, too early for Theory to win MITB. Theory winning Money in the Bank wasn't necessarily wrong. However, we'd argue that winning the briefcase in 2023 or 2024 would have been ideal. There's still time for Theory to develop. It seems a bit too early for Theory to win the MITB briefcase. Given the undisputed WWE World title and the person holding it, we could see a failed cash in this year or next. Number 1. Best, Liv Morgan getting her moment. As mentioned, we're not against Liv Morgan getting her moment at MITB. We loved watching Morgan rise to the occasion and fulfill her potential. She should have won the MITB briefcase last year, but better late than never. Morgan was cheered heavily by the crowd and is fully deserving of her spot. Let's hope WWE commits to her run as champion and doesn't end her push by SummerSlam 2022. WWE Money in the Bank chaotic backstage. According to a report, WWE's Money in the Bank was reportedly more chaotic than usual behind the scene. Despite the recent allegations surrounding him, Vince McMahon is still the head of creative in WWE. He recently stepped back from his role as CEO and chairman, with Stephanie McMahon taking over on an interim basis. According to PW Insider, there was no production meeting before Money in the Bank, which is unusual. A few matches were also being worked on just a few hours before the show was to kick off. The backstage scene at Money in the Bank has been described as a little more chaotic than usual compared to recent PPV. There was no production meeting early in the day per normal. Some matches were still being worked out as of an hour ago, which is much later than usual as well. The report also revealed that WWE was selling a new Vince McMahon t-shirt design at the venue. The show began with the women's MITB ladder match won by Liv Morgan. Later in the night, Morgan cashed in her briefcase on SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey and won the title. Rousey beat Natalya to retain her title in a hard-fought and exciting match. Elsewhere, Bobby Lashley won the United States Championship for the 3rd time by defeating Theory. Bianca Belair retained her Raw Women's Championship after beating Carmella. The Usos and the Street Profits put on a fantastic, action-packed tag team match, with the champions retaining their titles. But the bout was controversial as Montez Ford's shoulder was raised during the pinfall. The show's main event, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, was won by Theory, a late addition to the match. The Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar feud ends for good after SummerSlam 2022. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are set to headline SummerSlam 2022 in a last man standing match for the undisputed WWE Universal title. At Money in the Bank, a comment by Michael Cole seemingly confirmed the backstage plans for the feud going forward. At the premium live event, a vignette promoted the match between Reigns and Lesnar. Cole stated that the rivalry would reach its conclusion at SummerSlam 2022, which means that the backstage plan could be to end the feud for good at the biggest show of the summer. While Cole Still referred to the Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar rivalry as one of the defining feuds of the last decade. Many feel that it ran its course a long time ago. The SummerSlam match will be the 7th bout between the two behemoths. WrestleMania 38 could have been the conclusion of their rivalry, but reports stated that since Reigns' original SummerSlam opponent Randy Orton is out with an injury, WWE was forced to bring back the Beast incarnate. It remains to be seen whether Cole's comments will become a reality at the biggest party of the summer. The Fiend Bray Wyatt returns at Money in the Bank. Fans briefly got excited over a potential Bray Wyatt return after WWE aired a mysterious video package at Money in the Bank. It was eerily similar to the former superstar's vignettes, which is where the buzz came from. The clip featured a male star walking to creepy music, with some interesting visuals. This included a pair of wrestling boots, a gold medal, and a license plate, among other things. Several Twitter users seemed to believe the Money in the Bank video package was signaling Bray Wyatt's return to WWE. Responses ranged from hopeful to speculative, as it was ultimately determined that the two-time Universal Champion might not be the subject. Other options included Gable Steveson because of the gold medal and WWE Hall of Famer Edge. Either option may prove disappointing for fans, as the video package felt like a tease that Bray Wyatt was returning. Following all the speculation over who it would be, there is an update over who the cryptic video package was for. According to Fightful, it is indeed Edge who is behind the clip. A few Twitter users did guess that the rated R superstar was the one. The visuals were references to some of his past rivals, including Kurt Angle, Dudley Boyz, and Eddie Guerrero, among others. It remains to be seen, though, what the significance of these Easter eggs will be as Edge returns to television following Money in the Bank. He was last seen on Raw 4 weeks ago as he got kicked out of his Judgment Day faction by Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Rhea Ripley. The vignette seems to be the first hint towards his comeback as a babyface and deliver the ultimate payback on the heel trio. It will be interesting to see how WWE books the post-Money in the Bank episode of Raw, with SummerSlam swiftly approaching. Corey Graves attacks Roman Reigns at MITB. During the latest defense of the undisputed tag team titles at Money in the Bank, Corey Graves seemingly took a shot at Roman Reigns but was quick to backtrack when Pat McAfee called him out. The Tribal Chief was absent from the Money in the Bank. He was initially advertised for the event, but WWE removed him after changing venues from Allegiant Stadium to MGM Grand Garden Arena. As a result, Reigns' title defense against Riddle took place on SmackDown instead. The Tribal Chief is set to defend his title next against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2022 in a last man standing match. At Money in the Bank 2022, Roman Reigns was referenced a few times during the undisputed tag team title match between the Usos and the Street Profit. Corey Graves seemingly took a dig at Reigns by calling the Usos defending champions who are present all the time. Pat McAfee interpreted it as a dig against Reigns and supported the Tribal Chief. The SmackDown commentator stated that the champion had earned his current schedule, which allows him lesser appearances. Corey Graves was quick to backtrack and deny taking shots at Roman Reigns, but the damage was done at that point.